an overwhelming leader. With armies strewn across the continents, each competitor has a chance to win. Luck, in the form of good or bad rolls of the dice, will have a part in determining the winner. But the outcome will most depend on who best deploys his or her armies. When so few competitors are left, each player may get a fistful of troops each turn. Do you gather them into a single country, abutting your opponent's weak spot? Do you spread them widely to distribute the risk? Do you emphasize your strongest sectors? You will win or lose, depending on how you deploy your troops. The analogy to business is clear. Deployment of assets is the way you win or lose. But which assets? Most businesses have focused for years on the deployment of capital, with good reason. McKinsey consultant Stephen Hall, along with his former colleagues Dan Lavallo and Rainier Musters, studied more than 1,600 U.S. companies, looking at how their financial results lined up with their movement of capital. They found that companies that reallocated financial capital aggressively from one division to another, based on market opportunity and performance, were worth 40% more after 15 years than companies that had been relatively passive. The top third of their sample returned 30% more to shareholders than the bottom third. The best CEOs constantly review and reallocate financial capital, withdrawing funds from some places and adding more somewhere else. Security analysts watch this closely, rewarding companies that aggressively move capital, like Alphabet, Google's parent. But Google is just as bold when deploying its other critical resource, people. Now, let's be clear. Deploying human capital is very different from deploying financial capital. Dollars and euros will go where you send them, and they won't complain, of course. People, on the other hand, want to have a say in their fate. And at a time when talent is in such high demand, you must allow, and even encourage, people to have their say if you hope to attract the very best in your field. So, the successful deployment of talent is now largely a matter of creating an environment where the interests, ambitions, and innovations of people constantly shape the strategy and future of the company. Companies manage this challenge in myriad ways. In Google's case, for example, talent deployment emerges from a workplace where people have considerable leeway in deciding what projects they want to work on. In other companies, like Hire and McKinsey, a talent market determines deployment. Our goal with Talent Wins is to provide a playbook that will help you deploy human capital as effectively as you deploy financial capital. The structure and practices that make sense for your company are not necessarily the ones that will work for another company. This is not a one-size-fits-all kind of book, because there's no one-size-fits-all, universal solution for maximizing the potential of something as complicated as talent. Yet, as the three of us interviewed hundreds of top leaders for this book, CEOs, CHROs, CFOs, directors, and others, we discovered a set of principles shared by the most forward-thinking companies, principles that provide the foundation of such talent-driven organizations as ADP, Amgen, Aon, Apple, BlackRock, Blackstone, Google, Hire, Johnson & Johnson, Marsh, PepsiCo, Telenor, and many others you will encounter in this book. Talent Wins will show you how these principles can drive exponential growth at your own company. Talent Wins, a playbook for transforming and leading a people-first company. Talent Wins will show you what it really takes to create and lead an organization that lives by one simple but profound conceit. People, not companies, generate value. Acknowledging the importance of talent is easy. Transforming a company into a talent-first organization is hard. Our talent playbook will guide you through the complex process. We have broken it down into 7 steps, each of which features creative, actionable ideas for leaders who are ready to transform and steer a people-first company. The new playbook for putting people first. Alignment